afternoon, friends, and thank you for tuning in to Proud Parents, sponsored by Berry Global. I'm Stephanie Terry, Executive Director of your Children's Museum. We are back for another segment of Proud Parent, which is a speaker series that aims to provide information and resources for parents to better support our growing community's children. Today's topic is about the state of early childhood education in our community. Early childhood education is the time from when a child is born until they start school. There is an overwhelming amount of evidence that shows children who enter kindergarten behind are likely to remain behind throughout their educational careers and beyond. These gaps in achievement are difficult and expensive to close with just K through 12 education alone. Children who take part in early childhood education programs and activities have improved social skills and do better in school. They also learn essential life skills that they stay with them forever. We hope you'll walk away from this segment with a better understanding of the importance of early childhood education, as well as how to get better connected to resources in our community. Here with us today is our community's early childhood guru and my friend, Aleisha Sheridan. Alicia currently serves as the CEO of 4C of Southern Indiana, providing early childhood education resources and support to families, early educators, and communities in 28 counties. She is a Kentucky native and holds a bachelor's and master's degree in speech pathology from the University of Kentucky. Prior to her position, she served as an early childhood administrator for the Henderson County School District. She led the district task force for the construction, design, and programming of the Thelma B. Johnson Early Learning Center. Alicia has published research in early childhood education with the University of Chicago. Throughout her career, she has been focused on using data to drive decision-making. Alicia, thank you for being here and tell us what we need to know about early childhood education in our community.
Well, thank you for having me, Stephanie. I'm very excited. As you mentioned, I'm a speech pathologist by trade. And what I learned early on was the importance of early intervention. So the sooner that we can catch things, that we can get on the front end of things. So when you talk about that gap that needs to be closed in kindergarten, how much can we close that gap prior to? And how much do our early learning educators play a part in that? Because parents are our first teachers. However, a lot of us work. I was a working single mom. I had anywhere from 8 to 12 hours that my children were with someone else. And so it was a big decision for me. I was in Lexington and moved back to Western Kentucky. And I thought, I'm not leaving my child just somewhere. I need to make sure that they're cared for and they're getting good exposure while they're there. Most of the brain growth happens 0 to 3 years of age. 85% of it happens then. So imagine everything that child is being prenatally all the way up to 3 years. Every exposure starts to teach that child. We have a child says their first words at 1 year of age. So very first word, we're all anticipating what's it going to be. It's going to be mommy. Is it going to be daddy? Is it going to be choo-choo train or tennis shoe? What's going to come out? Most of the time it's a little simple one word that's for my son, it was ball. It was the first thing that came out of his mouth. My daughter, it was choo-choo. And so it's like, okay, what is that first real word? But before that first word, they understand 1,500 words. So just that thought process of they're listening, they're sponges, they're taking in, and your quality of care is highly going to impact the formation of your child's brain. So when we look at the state of early childhood in Vanderbilt County, in Evansville, in this region, we have a lot of accessibility. So there are lots of spots that are open for early childhood. It's a little more difficult to find infant care. It's very expensive. It's very expensive for sites to keep their doors open to provide service to 0 to 3 population. But it's there. And we have the resources here at our agency that if you're looking for childcare and you want to give us very specific things to find that particular childcare, we can narrow your list down. There are over 192 providers in this area. And so we can narrow it down to, well, I want a 5 mile radius from my home, or I want a 5 mile radius from where I work. We'll put that in our database. Then someone might say, well, I want a high quality center. In Indiana, that quality rating scale is called Paths to Quality, and it's a 1 to 4 rating, 4 being the highest. 1 means safety's there. You've got everything. You meet all licensing regulations. Level 2 means that you have all the safety things in place, but you also have regular schedules that are displayed and up and ready. Level 3 means you actually have a curriculum that you implement. And level 4 means you have national accreditation. So that's one of the first things that people will say, well, I only want a level 3 or a level 4. I want it 5 miles from my home. I need hours of 8 to 4. So then we'll put that into our database, and then we can spit out a list of 20 places that meet those criteria. And then the parent can take that and then go visit, do interviews, those types of things. What we suggest, we have a list of questions that the parents can ask and say, okay, these are the things, look fors that you want to look for when you go in. These are the questions to ask about the care that's being provided there. And then you can make a good solid decision on, moving back to Western Kentucky. All my family was gone, so I thought, where do I even start? And it was word of mouth. And so there was one location that was known for being great, but you had to be a legacy. So I was pregnant at the time with my second child, and there was no way I was getting in that place because I was not on a waiting list for 5 years. So I needed to find somewhere else. But it's expensive too. As I mentioned earlier, infant care can be around fair market value, around $225 a week for infant care. Now, you'll pay anything for your child to be safe. That's not the issue. But when we're looking at some of our families that are working in the federal poverty levels, to get a voucher, you have to be 125% of the poverty level. And for a family of 4, that's $30,000 with parent working. That is 1/3 of their gross income for them to be able to access that. There are resources. So you do have, the vouchers, but how do you apply? How do you do that? Where do you go to? All of those kinds of things. And our agency will help you do that because it's not easy navigating those things. And we want to be able to help families as much as we can. And then if you go on a waiting list for the vouchers, we have some stopgap measures. So we have a year that you can be on a program called Gatekeeper that the community has put forth from the casino dollars that will help bridge that gap. So there are lots of resources. It's just what you know and what you don't know, that's going on. So we try to help put all those things together.
Alicia, how can they access those resources?
Mm-hmm. You can get to our website and send us emails, and we will get back to you. We don't provide everything, but we will hook you to give you the correct numbers, who to call. If you can't get through that way, to contact us back so that we can help you navigate at a deeper level, kind of thing. Again, it's about making sure that these kids and families are surrounded. We call them protective factors. Do you have all of the resources that you need and access to them? Then there's a quality issue, so there are some level 1s and level 2s that are great. It's a voluntary program, so not everybody's on them. So just because they're not a level 3 or 4 doesn't mean that you don't need to look into them or that they're bad. Again, it's voluntary. They get to choose whether they're on it or not. However, we do look to see, are they actually implementing curriculum? Do the children have, are they measuring it? I had a in-home childcare provider that kept my children and loved her. She exposed them all day long. I had a certain expectation, but I didn't expect her to send me student outcomes on the early learning standards. I didn't go, when's our parent teacher conference? That was every day when I came to pick them up, kind of thing. And so I went back through, and whenever they turned 3 and 4, I just had a different expectation. Now they stayed with her because, like I said, I worked some pretty long hours. So, if I were gone 12 hours during the day, I wanted to know they were being loved on. I wanted to know that they had opportunities with other children that were guided. And she became part of my family. It was if I called and said, oh my gosh, this meeting's running over, my closest relative was 45 minutes away, and they had children of their own, so she would say, 15 minutes, I can handle it. I've got my kids taken care of. We're good, kind of thing. I tried not to abuse that. But at the same time, a center would charge me $1 every minute I was late. And so I thought, oh, whoa. But again, I went back to when I was preparing for that kindergarten readiness piece. I do have those expectations. Are they focusing on these things? In the state of Indiana, it's set up very different than Kentucky. So in the state of Indiana, the expectation is if you go into a ministry, a family child care home, a center, a Head Start, a school district, that all of them provide that same school readiness level. So as a parent, you have to understand, what do you want from the site that you're going to? Am I looking for somebody to take care of my child, expose them, love on them, and be safe so that I can go to my job? I can do what I need to do during the day and not worry about their safety and if they're being cared for, and then go pick them up? Or are you expecting that, that reporting and saying, you know what, they're really falling behind on their gross motor skills. You know what, they've got a little issue with speech. Maybe we need to make a referral. So you have to balance those things out and ask. As a parent, we all want what's best for our parents, but sometimes we don't know what or what not to ask. And so a lot of us is play, I was not a pre-K teacher. I was not in the early childhood field. So whenever I became a principal of a school for early learning, and we have 480 students, 80 employees, 13 lead teachers, and I had to go in and evaluate them, I thought, oh my, what am I looking for in this classroom? But it's fantastic when you've got a child that maybe struggling in one area, and you're thinking something's different, something's, not where it should be, but I don't know. I think COVID brought out a lot of that as well, so it is, who does this? Who does this level of? I will share. She lets me freely share this. My board chair, she has a child that until first grade struggled, and she was but nobody ever told her that, wait, something's going on. She said she's got the resources to support any extra, and the maybe some therapies that he could have been in early on, but it just wasn't brought to her attention. And he was her oldest. She didn't know. Right. And so as we go through some of the questions that we asked, and she's been on our board, she's like, I wish I'd known that. I wish I'd asked that, And so those are the kinds of questions that we can help parents with, and support them on guiding them through those things.
Okay. Well, Alicia, what do you feel like is, I guess, our greatest challenge to ensuring that every child has access to high quality care?
Again, it's purpose. We have, like I said, we have the access. I think there's some financial, when you have that cliff effect, you have some families that can pay full tuition. I remember when mine left the bottle and the diapers, I thought, yes, $20 extra a week, kind of thing. And it's the same, I paid my childcare rates. I made a wage that I was able to pay for those. But I remember when I thought, oh, I don't have to take them to the sitter anymore, kind of thing, that alleviated a lot of financial stress, because for a year of care for a 3 or 4 year old for high quality is $9,000 to $10,000 a year. And so, and infant care is even higher than that. So I think that's the greatest barrier, is being prepared for that as a parent when you're pregnant, to really understand that budget cost that's going to be in there. So the ones that can do it, make it, great. The ones that are able to get vouchers and be able to support and still get high quality care, great. It's that cliff effect for those between. So, if you're at 125% of the poverty level up to about 285, then it struggles, because you can't get that kind of support that's there. And our community is wrapping around that. We have a lot of business community members that are saying, what about those people? What about those people that fall within that crack? So even though it's a barrier, it is being looked at very deeply on how do we correct this. The other piece, there's right now through COVID, essential workers that fall within that range can get a special scholarship through October to help them for the next few months to be able to pay for their childcare. And that's nurses, firefighters, those types of things that are essential workers.
Awesome. We have a question from our audience, and it says, will you be hosting Play and Learn again, or know of anything like it? Our family loved attending and misses it very much. It was very apparent how playtime with kids of different ages helped my kids learn.
Yes.
That's an awesome question, because as you can imagine, that's what we're all about. So
I love the question. It is a great question. The sustainability of that program became difficult. We had a back-end funder. We're a nonprofit agency. And so we had a back-end funder where we were trying to collect the data on the importance of it and what the purpose of it was. It was a great program. We still have some affiliates that have decided to continue that. And if they want to email me, I can give them locations of those places after I'm sure because of COVID, there was a lot of change. They may have decided to disengage with it as well. But there are some calendars in the town that tell about activities that are ongoing. You and I are partnering on some work that we'll be doing through the summer, which will be a great opportunity. Same type of thing, not completely set up the same way, but being able, even after the fall starts, for those that aren't in a formal setting, and that's a good solid place here locally that could provide an ongoing and regular, consistent with curriculum behind it and an intentfulness behind it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Alicia. This has been great time spent. And I guess before we kind of close out today's session, can you give us your website so that we can be sure that parents know where they can access the information you mentioned today?
Yes. So if you just Google 4C of Southern Indiana, it'll send you to our website, but the actual site is child-care.org. For our millennials, our younger ones, the hyphen is a dash. And let me share one story. I know it doesn't really pertain, but I got tickled because of the differences. We had an entrance security keypad on one of our doors at my office, and I was sending my kids in to get one of those things. And I said, it's 1, 2, 3 pound. And my child just sat and looked at the door, and they do the 1, 2, 3, and then they just look. And I said, what are you doing? And they said, Mama, what is a pound? And I said, what? And I said, that over there on the right. And they said, it's a hashtag. So the hyphen is a dash if you don't know. So, but yes, child-care, child-care.org is our website. So we would love any kind of questions, emails to us, and we can go dive deeper with anybody that needs more information.
Excellent. Thank you again for joining us for this segment. Early childhood education gives children a good foundation on which to build for their succeeding years in school. Thank you again, Alicia, for your time and for sharing with us today and for being just one of our passionate leaders in the community. Goodbye, friends. We will see you next month when we talk about summer programs.